bring out something more,
Good. Yeah, you're trying to do a sit down with that. They're gonna do it a little more.
Alright, let's test live now. Check the audio. Testing.
Testing, 1, 2, testing.
Check the audio. Testing.
Testing, 1, 2, testing.
Check the audio. Testing. Yeah, we good.
All right. Shalom. First and foremost, we will give all praises to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Akakadash.
Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Men's Stone. Peace and salutations to Allah Akim, who is doing the work with sincerity and charity, with humiliation all across the four winds. You, I salute. All right, today we got a good lesson lineup. Lord willing, it be edifying and to serve a purpose. All right, before we get in there, the brother just mentioned, the STD rates. Also HIV. And the thing about it is, with this, it's a woman leading that with what, 62% or something like that. That should tell you, promiscuity is at its highest level. I'm sure if they break it down by age group, all right, or they just do it what, male and female. All right, so that lets you know what's going on. That's all it was being recorded. Done. All right, but I think it's much more higher than that.
Yeah.
You see? But man, hey, that's crazy.
And you know why? Because the precept goes into, because sentence is not executed speedily. They basically, wax worse and worse with iniquity. When you look at the rates of adultery, believe it or not, women commit adultery more than men. You see, you'd have married women stepping out on their husbands. You see, and because the penalty, we know the punishment for adultery is death, but because they don't get put to death right away, they do it over and over and over again. And as these scourges hit them, when these plagues hit them, they don't seek forgiveness. They just go and they spread it to somebody else. You see, I'll get that precept. This is the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and start at verse 19. It says, "Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment." And scourges for amendment means for correction. These things are sent to correct our people. Those sicknesses are there to put in the minds of our people, hey, those things y'all doing, y'all shouldn't be doing it. You see? But when we read verse 20, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So although all these things happening, although these rates up, people still out there doing wickedness. They still out there committing adultery. They still out there committing sodomy. They still out there being harlots. You see? So they neglect and they turn their backs on the scourges. They take the scourges for naught. You see?
Sure. So like you mentioned earlier about the scriptures in Ecclesiastes chapter 8, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of sons of men is fully set in them to do evil.
Okay.
All right. So the percentage of the woman having more, which is 65% more. Okay. A woman, it's easy for them to spread it than a man. Because a man can't just go out there and say he can go with any woman.
Right, the woman have access to sex.
Yes.
She controls sex.
Yes.
You see? So she could go there and let's say if they're having a party, she could go to this party and get any man right the back, right the top. Let's go and lay with. A man can't just go there to the party and say, well, like, I want this woman, I can live with her. A woman can do that. She have that power. See, so therefore you have way more women that's going to contract this STD, okay, than men. All right, just as well, there's going to be more women going to be put to death than men.
And in addition to this is now judgment, being placed on them for all the evil, promiscuity, and wickedness. You know, they're being judged. This is a form of judgment.
Okay. All right, I just got this article here, they screenshot from Facebook. You know, it says SCD increase. Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the National Health Insurance Authority, Bahamas, Chrissy Butler reveals that HIV/AIDS cases among NHIA beneficiaries increased by 44% in 2025, with a 354 reported cases. Okay, it said the data shows that a 9.6% increase in overall STD diagnosis, including a 23% rise in syphilis cases. Females accounted for 58% of that reported STD diagnosis, while males reported 42%. All right. Now we know that's why we know why that like that, right? It's like that because these women sleeping with the same men. Majority of women sleeping with the same men. When you look at in these communities, all right, majority of these women have children with the same man. Okay, so we know where I go. All right, it says according to the statistics, adults between the ages of 25 and 44 recorded the highest proportion of STD cases, underscoring growing public health concerns and the need for increased awareness, testing, and prevention efforts. All right, so man, hey, that's crazy, man.
I think to bring us up also.
Go ahead, brother.
I was watching one of his lessons, right? He was doing his lesson on this lady. You know, the lady said, "This what you want to, this what you can do to your man and give your man some destiny." Say, "Have multiple niggas, ejaculate, just let it stay at you." So they try with service now. Yeah, let me get your man. That's what they promote. That's some wicked ass shit. You see, there are multiple niggas, ejaculate. You know, that's why a lot of these, we call the term vaginosis.
Vaginosis.
You understand? They let this one ejaculate them all kind of wicked shit.
Right, and not every sperm is created to impregnate.
Exactly.
All right, you have some sperm, warrior sperm. All right, and the head of that is basically like a shield, flat, and that is responsible for putting the vibration on that woman, putting your vibration on that woman.
Stick the brain stem.
Right. All right, and the ones that is for impregnating, they have like a
spare head.
Nah.
For penetrating the egg.
Right. So now you have the warrior sperm with the basic flathead, and then for putting the vibration on the woman, and then you also have the sperm that's for the spearhead that's for impregnating. So these two clash within the box.
Yeah.
So what do you think going on?
Different mood swings.
You understand?
So you have a shield sperm, you have a passing sperm.
Right.
That's the sign of wickedness. I mean, you know, saturating the earth. Okay, saturating the earth. Wickedness increase because a woman's supposed to be this quiet and respectable, especially to her man. But here with the evil thoughts and they go into her head with letting several men ejaculate and that. Your body's supposed to be a blessing and a respectable man. You're supposed to be holding yourself in high regard to your man or your husband.
Right. The woman is designed to be a reflection of one man.
Mm-hmm.
That's her husband. But the modern woman is the reflection of many. All right. when you say the Lord's Prayer, right? How could you ask the Lord to deliver you from evil? But then that's the evil you see.
They're into the evil.
Yeah.
I just think of you ever watch that movie, that TV series, Game of Thrones? The young girl named Arya or something like that. Okay, she learned the trait of many faces. So if you have many different sperm inside you, you carry many different vibrations, you carry many faces.
That's it. You damn Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you taking on all these characteristics of these different niggas. That's why you have mood swings and shit. Yeah. All right, but anyhow,
Microcamerism.
microcamerism. All right, and how we know about that? He saw did a study on a 94-year-old woman. You see what I said? And he found the DNA traces of all those men she been with in her lifetime. And guess what? They even find traces of DNA all in her nasal cavity, you know. So that to tell you what she been doing. So, all right, that was basically what the scripture called a thirsty traveler. Right? Yep. All right. Yes, sir, brother.
Yeah, the precept, going back to what the brother was saying, yeah, with these women, the woman and the earth is the same, right? Someone get I think that's Jeremiah, I think 3:1.
Never satisfied.
Jeremiah 3:1.
Yeah, and that's good that you brought that out too. The woman and the earth is the same.
Yep.
All right, because there's when the earth yielding forth, its fruits, right? In righteousness. That means the earth good, right? Everything good. But with a woman, all right, let's look at her box. All right. If she's a beautiful woman and she ain't got no sense, what do you think can happen?
A box for everybody.
That box will get hell. All right. So if the earth isn't governed the proper way, what can happen? The earth can be polluted.
Right. That's among all Leviticus 19 and 19.
That's community box, boy.
You know, Jeremiah 3:1.
Yeah, Jeremiah 3:1.
This is Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 1. They say, if a man put away his wife and she go from him and become another man's, she shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me and said, the Lord lift up thine eyes.
Like only
Verse 1.
So guess what? Wife and woman, they interchangeable. All right. Or they're married, wife and woman, they interchangeable.
Yep. Woman goes back to the word servant.
Exactly.
Same thing, that's the word wife.
So you have a woman, she go from you. You don't have sex with her, she go from you, and another man go into her. All right. That that's another husband.
That's polluted land. She
You
now
were supposed to take her back.
She now considered a harlot.
Right. And the scripture speaks in the law, Leviticus 19 and 19. You were supposed to mingle no seed.
Right.
Married woman is the same. So that's why these women so delusional. They ain't supposed to be taking on multiple seed.
Yeah, this is Leviticus 19 and 19. Ye shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with thy voice kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed.
Mingle seed.
Neither shall garment mingle of linen and wool come upon thee.
You see that? Mingle seed. You see that? Man of this band carry the seed.
Right? As Deuteronomy 24, and one goes into that as well. So you shouldn't, take that woman back after she's been polluted this time. Guess what? You go and you take her back now. You ain't only taking her back. You taking her and all them niggas see that being with.
Exactly.
Because they're spirits.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? And it's so powerful, right? Let's say she dealing with a nigga, right? She deal with a nigga, and that nigga damn have a string of bad luck on it.
I coming straight deep.
You bringing out she bringing out one to you. Not to you. Yeah. You see what I said? So that on her.
And you nigga fact you more than a fact.
You're damn right, and they're gonna fact you 7 times more.
So don't forget there's the progenitor of wickedness now. So they actually dwell inside that.
That's it. See, the scriptures say, even a damn face darkness, change damn the contour of skin and all.
The wickedness of a woman changes the continents of her eyes.
You understand?
Talking
So,
at the continents.
so when you see these women and then with they face and then like this part, they face black, and this one, they like have different shades on their face.
Yeah.
You can tell right off the bat that's a wicked woman. You know what I said?
So there's something called sexually transmitted demons.
That's unique. You see? But yeah, man, but the Bible warns about sexual sin, and how it could bring real consequences to your life.
Yes.
You see what I say? In the scriptures, they don't teach that every illness is automatically the Most High judgment, but they do teach that sexual immorality could produce consequences in the body and in one's life. You understand? The brother was telling me about a movie he watched, right? Now, this a TV series, but shit like this are actually playing out in real life.
God.
You see
The polygamous.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we can get one or two precepts on this, and then we can pass it to the brother. So let's get 1 Corinthians 6 and 18, brother.
All right. It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 6 and 18. Reads, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committed fornication sinneth against his own body.
Right, and and that's powerful. Going back to the article I just brought out.
And it starts with self.
Right now, sexual activity, presented in the scriptures as something without boundaries. Right, but the Most High established sexual relations within marriages. You see that? Stepping outside those boundaries can expose people to real consequences. All right. I just mentioned one. Okay. But a woman stepping out and dealing with somebody, and then they got to spring a bad luck on him. See what I said? And I ain't talking about, I ain't get the physical sickness yet. See what I said?
So now you're right. Even on the aspect of the same aspect, right? Let's say relationship dealing with strong and feminine or homo. So that energy vibration, boy, that's a serious thing. Because
Even the way, what if it is violent, it is, it's, the killer.
That's it. All right, you bringing all of that energy on the yoke. Because remember now, there's a reason why the man reproductive organs or reproductive system is on the outside, and the woman own is on the inside. You can see
They're receptive.
so that's it. You see, so they are the ones that basically contain energy.
right. So lock here in the country war. There's a term, what scientists call it receptacle cum bucket. That's what it is.
See? All right. So there's receive energy and house energy. So you could imagine all of those damn energy and get together. All right. You need to keep BP up, some of that damn power. Yeah, that's why with the power going off for one. Yeah. Yeah. But also, the book of Proverbs warns about sexual promiscuity. See? God gave the side to come in. Come right here, right now, when this come out, man. Boy, agenda. Let's get Proverbs 7:21 to 23. All right, after this, we get one more and it's fast to the brother.
All the while,
This is Proverbs chapter 7, verse 21. With a much fair speech, she caused him to yield. With the flattering of her lip, she forced him.
Right. Now, this goes right back into what the brother was saying earlier. We know that the woman, basically controls sex. So she have the right to do with her body whatever she want to do with it. That's her body, right? But she controls sex, right? Okay? Go ahead.
So he goeth after a straight way, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through its liver, as the bird hasteneth to the snare, and knoweth not that it is for his life.
You see that? All right, then guess what I can tell you one day? Diseases has been the most finest set of things. And that ain't got no face.
You know that? And this comes from on the cusp of adultery, messing around. Yep. I said, what comes after that when you commit adultery? These different diseases.
So something that looks good, that looks pleasurable in the moment, could have consequences that isn't immediately visible. You understand? You could say, well, you deal with this guy today, tomorrow, and you feel like everything is everything. 2 months down the road, Bob, and when you see that damn break out on the side of your lip. When you start coughing. But by the Lord, say, boy, let them yards. You get them yards up from your work.
But as I say, it's just a dirt.
Yeah. In every yard, that's the thing.
Yeah. Like that's why you see, that's a Barry Ranger, but
Slowly.
That Barry where they take the street that
Boy, we get hit. We don't get hit.
God. Yeah, but to go about that article, I said, some women may make a decision based on a temporary pleasure without considering what could follow after. You see? And in that case, we see in that the man look at what the article say. The damn 58%.
Oh shit. And more prevalent among young people.
Shit.
Young people don't get one. They ain't care.
a lot of them they only take it for the moment right then and there.
That's temporary pleasure. Long-term consequence.
I can say this. Okay.
Yeah, man. Huh? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, before we end this, right? So that's now, he said, schools that, so parents that can basically suspect their kids to happen in divorce. The young kids now convert to either. That's what's happening. So they can't suspect that they have been divorced. They convert up to either. That's how wicked it is. The man should put them in jail. That's a woman telling her young boy,
In the dress. Straight, yeah. The school was telling me he needed to pick him up. And they started that she, him, bullshit.
Yeah, they need
Yeah. That's a Jake Young, and they look like a young Jake.
I said he's over here. 5 years ago.
You were not long. I remember that. That job on
That's like a next church.
Then scripture say you can reap with yourself. See? That's Galatians 7. You guys know what that's about.
whatever man sow it, that shall he also reap. Right now, this ain't saying that everyone that contracted this disease is punished by the Most High. All right, but this is saying, man, your decision have consequences, man. All right. Okay. So, the society increasingly normalized fornication, adultery, multiple sex partners, unprotected sexual relationships. It shouldn't be surprising when the physical consequences increase. See like that? That shouldn't be no surprise because it's the type of thing what's happening here in society. The polygamous come to light. You see? So, yeah, man. So, in many cases, you gotta exercise temperance, man. Right? So, that's something. All right. So, yeah, man. All right. Not to take up some time with it, but you know, going into that last set, you know, there's a bit of brother mention it.
Good.
Yeah, so you got it, brother.
God. Yeah, you know, that's something what you know, the Most High put the spirit on the brother to bring up, because I think that's something what the masters needed to hear. You know, to put the fear of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai back into the people to remember, hey, there are consequences to sexual immorality. There are consequences to committing adultery. There are consequences, and they are real. You see, because once you contract some of those diseases, that with you for the rest of your life. They permanent. See, there's no so-called cure for those things. You see? But the last one the Most High put in my spirit, you know, we have being inside this truth, we have to understand the principle of what it is we're involved in. You see? Because there are principles to this thing. You see, and those who lack principles, you know, pretty much lack morality, integrity. You see? And I want to start off with the precept in Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 21. We can get that one real quick. Abu Kashar. But before we bring up that precept, let me bring up what the definition of the word principle is. You know, a principle is a basic truth, law, or a deep belief that helps guide how you act and how you think. And it's a fundamental rule for moral behavior. You know, that I brought out a point earlier, you know, and it all starts with self, you know, self-morality. You see, having principles within yourself. But let's get that precept, Mullah.
Isaiah 30 and 21.
Can.
Isaiah 30 and 21. And thine heirs shall hear a word behind thee, saying, this is the way, walk ye in it. When you turn to the right, when you turn to the left.
Can. Now, the thing about it is, right, once you understand the principle, you know, the principle of what it is that you're involved in, the form becomes a tool and not a prison, right? What I mean by that, when that is applied to this truth, learning and understanding the laws and commandments, they become guidelines to a way of life. You see, you're not bound by the law, but you're guided by it. And that's why I brought out the precept there. You see? Now imagine, right? Let's paint a picture. Imagine there's this long rope, right? This long rope leading to ultimate prize, right? You ain't tethered to that rope, you know, you don't have something physically holding you to that rope, right? You're not tethered to the rope. And you know, but if you stray from it, you get hit with trials and tribulations, but you're still able to return to that rope, right? Now, bring on that precept in the book of Second Address, Malak 7 and 7.
The second Ezra 7 and 7. It says, the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
Done. So imagine that rope, right? If you have a fire on one side, water on the next side. As you walking on that narrow path, you think some water ain't gonna splash up and try to throw you off that path? You drink some of that fire, you ain't gonna flare up and singe the hair on you or singe your eyebrow or something like that. But the idea, the fact of the matter is to remain on that part. Now here's the thing. If you stray too far right, you stray too far left, now you inside that water, you can drown. You inside that fire, you can burn up. You see? When you remember the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, they are the guidelines to a way of life. As long as you stay on that pathway, that don't mean tribulation ain't gonna come. But when you remember the law, statutes, and commandments, they guide you to get through what it is that you do that you're dealing with. You see? Morality, right? But we can get to that. I ain't gonna jump the gun, right? Now the thing is that you're able to return to the pathway. Now, that's the thing. If you stray too far, you can lose the pathway, never to return to it again. And that within itself is a scary thing, right? Read verse 8, my love.
This is 2 Ezra 7, verse 8. It says, and only one part between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Gone. You only can travel it one man at a time, meaning you yourself have to walk that path. Now, I brought it earlier. We ain't bound by the law, but you're guided by it. Meaning, right? When we look at the foundation of things, the principle of things, right? We have all the law, statutes, and commandments are summed up in about 4 different categories. I brought this up before. The elder apostle Ramlad brought this out many years ago. They are separated into 4 different subcategories. You have the moral law, the dietary law, the civil law, and the ceremonial law, right? Now, examples of that. The moral law deals with how you conduct yourself, deals with self. You see, how you apply the law, statutes, and commandments to your walk. Because what works for you might not work for another man, what works for another man might not work for you. You're guided by it, you're not bound by it, you're guided by it. You have to have a sense of morality, you have to have a sense of principle. You have the dietary law that governs the things that you eat. You see? When you look at that, even that within itself, we know all the things are defiled in this world. All the things in this world are defiled. Now you can stop eating. Let's say you can stop eating a certain food because it comes inside a plastic container. We know plastic contains pork, right? So what? You're gonna stop eating it because it contains that? No, because now you can destroy yourself. Although the law says not to eat this, we're not bound by it, but we're governed by it. But you didn't go there and order a pork chop dinner. You didn't go there and order a shrimp dinner. You see, don't destroy yourself, right? And then we have the ceremonial law, which governs how we conduct ourselves on high holy days. How you keep the Sabbath, how you keep the Pesach, how you keep the Day of Atonement. When we remember the Sabbath, let's say you have to work on the Sabbath, you can call in every time the Sabbath comes saying you can't come to work. Next thing you lose your job. You gotta have sense with this thing, right? And when you think about it, it's still. But before I can make that point, right? Let's say you need fuel for your vehicle. You're going to buy fuel on the Sabbath day, and then you run out of gas. Now you got to call the brother to come give you assistance. Now he got to stop resting on his Sabbath day to come assist you. So you have to bear these things in mind, right? And the last one is the civil law, where it goes in how you conduct yourself among brethren. You see how you are towards your fellow man. You see, that's the civil law. Now, when you look at all these things, right? And I speak as a man when I say this, the most important out of all of them is the moral law. Because when you think about the dietary law, it starts with self. When you think about the ceremonial law, it starts with self. When you think about the civil law, it still starts with self. You see? And again, you have to understand the principle of what it is you're involved in. Again, you're not bound by the law, but you are governed by it, meaning you are. It's more or less like a guideline per se. You see, so the same way how you can't be saved by it, you can't be saved by the law. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. You see, if you can't conquer yourself, you won't be able to overcome anything else. It all boils down to self. Bring that precept again from Malak in Isaiah 30 and 21. You want to make a point up?
Isaiah 30 and 21. And thy heads shall hear a word behind thee, saying, This is the way, walk ye in it. When ye turn to the right hand, and when ye turn to the left.
Gone. So you gotta have principles in this thing. You have to have integrity in this thing. Now I brought out a saying, last week. If I could bring that up real quick. It says, Salakia. He said long-term integrity beats short-term intensity. Right? Now I borrowed the example earlier when it comes down to the STDs. You come across an immediate pleasure, right? And because you dealt with that immediate pleasure, it caused you a long-term problem. And when you get a sickness of long continuance, every person who you deal with, you pass it on to them because of what? A short-term pleasure, because of a lack of integrity, because of a lack of morality, because of a lack of integrity. So would you give up your kingdom to fall in love with your concubine? It don't make no sense. You see, you could give up the ultimate goal, which is the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, which is that crown of life, for a short-term pleasure. We have examples in the scriptures with Yahushai when Satan came and tempted him and promised him the world if he just bowed the knee. Ain't nothing Satan could have promised to Yahushai that he didn't already have.
Even the scriptures.
Gone.
That's it. But I just want to touch on going back to the four categories of the law. Okay, the scripture telling you in Proverbs chapter 6. Okay, how the commandment is the law, and the law is the light. Okay, that light represents the
guidance.
You are in the fear of the Lord. Okay, also on going back to understanding, because now here in the dark, you see the dark. And in the dark, that's where mostly evil happens. Wickedness. Okay, but in the light, you could see. Okay, so you have the law as basically leading you, okay, directing you. All right, but overall, okay, faith tied it into faith and in the fear of the Lord. Okay, there where your life, okay, will be led by reserve, right? Reserve. Okay. So yeah, man, the scriptures, all right, is our way of life. Okay.
God. Way of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge.
God. Go ahead, Ar.
Who despise it.
Yeah.
Bring it up.
Sirach 33, 2-3. A wise man hateth not the law, but he that is an hypocrite therein is as a ship in a storm. A man of understanding trusted in the law, and the law is faithful unto him as an oracle.
God.
You see? Because it's going to guide you.
God.
See? It's going to guide you.
The law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord are guidelines. So again, when we remember Yahushai, everything what Satan promised to give him, Yahushai did already have. So he is able to turn down the tempter. When we look at us, we following after the ways of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We following the guidelines that he set forth, that he put there for us. So when the tempter comes, how could he promise you anything that you don't already have? Huh? He could promise you riches. How you could promise you riches and the Lord already have a kingdom set up for me, a mansion set up for me?
Yeah.
Huh? He could promise you knowledge. How you could promise me knowledge? And the Most High say, those who fear the Lord can attain wisdom. That right there. You can't promise me that.
Can't promise you nothing you already have.
Can't promise me nothing I don't already have.
And the thing about it, just like us, we are here, okay, to reach the elect, preaching repentance.
Can't.
Okay, to let our people know that, look here, these things already preserved.
Promised us.
And promised to them. What can the devil give you?
We are the children of the promise.
You say?
So if you was a child of the promise, we are children of the promise. Anything with the tempter have shouldn't even play no weight with you. You see? Go ahead, huh?
Not to cut you off, right? I go on into the AI overview of Sirach 33 and 2. Check it. So basically, that's what you're saying. It says Sirach 33 and 2 means that wise people value God's law and instruction, while fake or insincere people lack stability. When life gets hard, a hypocrite gets tossed around like a small boat caught in a violent storm, lacking the solid anchor that wisdom and truth provide.
In Proverbs 11:1.
This whole book is the law.
You see? In Proverbs 11:1, my love. Because at the end of the day, again, it all starts with self, with your morality, with your principles. Let me bring the definition of principle again. Principle is a basic truth, law, or deep belief that helps guide how you act, how you think. It's a fundamental rule for moral behavior. A foundational rule for moral behavior. You see, so if you lack principles, therefore everything what you do would be done with a lack of principle. If you lack morals, everything what you do would be done with a lack of morals. And when you think about morals, that ties into your faith. You see, because watch this. I went into one of the subcategories of the laws is the dietary law, right? Let's say you are faced with a conundrum or a quandary, or well, you are faced with a problem, right? And they tell you, hey, if you don't eat this pork, we can put you to death, right? Now this way your faith comes in. Will you eat the pork to preserve your life, or will you suffer it to be so and become a martyr for this thing? Would your faith shine true? I say, boy, I ain't gonna do that. And when you think about it, if you reject it, it may in turn save your life. Because the scripture says, those that seek it to save his life shall lose it. But he that loseth his life for my sake shall live. So things like this, you have to imagine and play these scenarios through your mind, because a lot of the things what you think may not happen may be the very things to happen. You see? We touch on the ceremonial law. Hey, you have to keep the Day of Atonement. Yeah, you may have to work, but we know that's the day where you don't eat, you don't work, you don't drink, you don't do anything, right? Let's say you have an important job come up. Do you turn down that job to keep the Day of Atonement because you know that's a solemn day? Or do you say, boy, I gotta do this, I gotta go make this money? Do you reject the Day of Atonement and then go to that job? Yeah, you may make that immediate money, but what that can cost you in the long run. You see how all these things, we talk about that with sexual immorality, right? But this ties into everyday life. Do you accept that immediate monetary gain and reject what it is that the Most High had for you? Or do you reject that monetary gain and gain what the Most High have for you? Because they guarantee you whatever the Most High have for you, Satan got worldly things can't never compare to it, even on the small scale. You see? You got a precept, huh? Proverbs?
Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord, to power, but a just weight is his delight.
Touching on that goes in conjunction with the precept that I brought up in Sirach chapter 33. You see, where we're to and fro. Get that in the book of James, right? Get it in James chapter 1. It's verse 5. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of Yahweh, that giveth to all men liberally, and upbraid it not, and it shall be given him. But let him ask in faith, nothing wavering, for he that wavereth is like a wave of the sea driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of Yahweh. So again, if you asking for something and you wavering, or you ain't sure what it is that you asking for, you ain't gonna receive it. If you lack integrity, if you lack morals, if you lack principles, whatever you ask the Most High for, you ain't gonna get it. Because why? If the Most High can't trust you with a little, why you think he can give you a lot? If you pervert yourself with a little, how much more you think you pervert yourself with a lot? A person who's an alcoholic, you think, wait, the Most High so far out, right? A person who's an alcoholic, right? They don't drink themselves into oblivion because they can't afford it. You see? But let's say they was been able to buy, they was come into a large sum of funds. What do you think they can do? They can drink themselves to death because now they could afford it. You see? A person who can't afford, a lot of times the Most High watches over us by keeping things from us. But a lot of times the Most High keeps us on the straight and narrow by keeping things out of our grasp. You see, the Most High helps us to maintain our moralities and our principles by not giving us the things that would potentially pervert us. And oftentimes you have to understanding this truth. Spiritual maturity is needed to understand that. You see, because when you first coming into the truth, you don't even look at things this way. You may look at it as, oh, this happening because I do this happening because I do that. No, this may be happening to stop you from doing that. You see, and being inside this truth, it comes with it. You need to mature spiritually to understand certain things. It ain't always just cut and dry. You see, because again, what works for one man may not work for the next. One man's principles may not be your principles. What one man's trials may not be your trials. You see, and that comes with spiritual maturity and understanding. You see, you can't always consider yourself a baby in this thing. At some point, you got to grow up. At some point, you gotta grow up. Because if you always saying within your mind as a baby, what you think you can always remain. You can always remain as a baby. If you always thinking, but I only could drink milk, what you think you can always look for? You can always look for milk.
No self-proclaimed is a fetus in this.
You see? Yeah, we may make sport of it, but it's facts. It's true. You see? If you constantly looking for meat, right? You may find some meat that's difficult to chew. You ain't ready to chew that. Your teeth ain't strong enough for that. Your digestive system ain't strong enough to intake that. But when you seek out the things that are not too hard for you and you gradually build on that, then you will eventually get to the point where it's okay, and this was the meat what I was searching for. This is the understanding of it. Now I can internalize it, I can digest it, I can make use of it. You see? Because if you was to give a suckling baby a big piece of steak right now, they might could swallow it, but that would jack them right up on the inside. They either can choke on it, or if they get it down, they'll get a mean stomachache because their digestive system is not ready for it. When you look at it from the spiritual aspect, you may find something that is too hard for you. You may hear it, you may listen to it, and when you digest that, would jack you right up on the inside because you ain't spiritually.
Like you say, you gotta build on it.
You gotta build towards it. Yeah. And this thing takes time. Yeah. I watched one of the brothers them do a video. This was yesterday or day before. It was this man, he wanted to join IUIC, and he said he wanted to be one of the highest ranks inside it, right? So you already going inside this thing with the wrong mindset. He said he left the Hebrew Israelite faith. You can't leave being a Hebrew Israelite. That's who you are. That's what you born into. You had no choice in that. But you going into it with you already going with the wrong mindset. Say you want to have this rank, you want to have that rank. No. You can't. Men who've been inside this truth 40, 50 years. You just coming in. You ain't the way how they understand things. You can't even begin to fathom the way they understand a thing. You see?
Yeah.
You get lost. Go ahead, huh?
That's how you mention even as the scriptures say, when you come in, okay, you desire the
sincere meat. Yeah, it's like it.
Okay, so as a baby, they drink milk because the milk is easier to digest. Okay, milk have also nutrients in it as well to make you stronger.
God.
Okay, now as you grow, all right, then you begin to eat certain things. Okay, now if a brother come in and he wants to go from a baby straight to adult, all right, he may not know how to break down John 3:16. You see what I'm saying? So you gotta know how to break down a certain scripture. All right, just like you say, when you give a baby a steak, his digestive system, which is also his understanding, unable to break that down. You see? So when you started to grow, then you started the be fed meat. Because by your digestive system, which is your understanding now, started to grow.
Only that's showing you a process that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Because you also have to go through certain things in order to get experience.
There you go.
You see, so you ain't just can come in this thing and shoot straight to the top. That's called being cocky.
Right. You have to experience some things.
You know of any baby who just born yesterday and started walking the next day. So
without falling.
Was he AI?
You're gonna know because of what?
And And touching on the precept where we brought out earlier in the book of Isaiah, when it comes to walking that path, you see, you can stumble now and again. You can get splashed with some water. You can get burned with some hot coals. You see, that all a part of the walk. Because I can guarantee you, right? If when you first start this walk, if many years down the line you are the same strength in this walk, you ain't grow.
Nope. You gotta seriously check yourself.
Done. If when you first start this walk, a little splash of water throw you off, right? Yeah, that's expected because you just start. You don't walk 100 miles in this thing, and a little splash of water still throw you off. No, you ain't growing it. You're supposed to be able to take a whole wave. You see, certain days what first affected you when you first started this walk shouldn't affect you now in this truth, or it shouldn't have as big an effect on you in this truth. You see, the understanding what you once had starting off, that you should be way past that right now. You see, because why? You're building on top of it. If you still lack that understanding, that means you wasn't doing no building. You was just there waiting for somebody else to add you. Because every now and again, somebody can hand you a block, somebody can hand you some water. But you got to build for yourself.
Yeah.
Again, it all starts with who? Yep. With self.
Yeah, you can't be in this thing 10, 11 years. Today you the elder, tomorrow you the fetus.
Man, see?
And that's true. That shows, man, that you are like you mentioned with the block situation, right? You just stand there waiting.
Right.
Because I ain't get no time.
No
slugger.
No
slothful. You see, because one who just stand up just waiting with their hand full, the swift you talk about that.
Right.
Waiting with your hand full.
Right.
You're just slothful. You're just sloth.
A falling of the arm, a little sleeping. Yeah. You see?
You're a nigga.
Gone.
You see what I'm saying?
Doc brought out a beautiful lesson a couple months back going into riding the coattails. You can't ride another man's coattails. You have to do this thing for yourself. You have to have morality for yourself. You have to have principles within yourself. You think when the Most High come, he can ask you, all right, then what you do for me? Well, this brother helped me do this. So he come and asking about you. As we walk in, there's us. Yeah, we are one body. But the Lord ain't gonna ask the hand what the foot do. The Lord gonna ask the hand what you do. You see, every last one of these joints, sinews inside our body, they make up a body, but each and every one of them have a purpose. Yeah, we are one body here. It's 5 of us here, but in the spirit we are one. Each of us have a role to play. And if you see one of us faulty up, we can feel that. You see, we can feel that, and because we are one body, we can. All right, then let's come. You need to do better, not just for yourself, but for us, for the body as a whole. Again, it all starts with self. You want to make a point out?
One man more than once. That does now part. So basically, also got to have the balance there too. Because if you fall too hard to the left, you're going down. You go on to the left, you're going one side fire on one side water. So you got to have that balance going into the kingdom.
Done.
You see? And guess what? You got to have that within yourself to keep that balance within yourself along that path. Does start the straight gate and Matthew 7 and 13. That goes into the inner man, boy.
Bring it over. Bring out the precept.
Starts with you.
See Matthew 7 and bring it over. You got to make a point out?
Yes, and you haven't mentioned but in that one body, you see, each aspect, each organ, have a particular part to play. The eye, is an organ of sight. The ear, is an organ of hearing. So you will have, even though we are all in that one body, each person has their own individual function.
We can't all be all else.
Right.
So you have diverse gifts.
Done.
Exactly.
Done.
That's it. Bring it over.
Go ahead, bring it over.
Matthew 7 and 13, it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it.
Very easy. lack morals in this world. Very easy to go there and commit adultery. Very easy to go there and commit all manner of wickedness. Very easy to do that. You see, very easy. But to keep integrity, keep morals, to keep principles, it's a form of difficulty. That one in itself, it's easy, but it's still discipline. It requires discipline.
Right.
A man of no, okay, a man of integrity in a world that lacks integrity would be seen as a wicked man. A righteous man in a wicked world would be seen as what? Wicked.
Exactly.
You see, when you have light in a world of darkness, where you think that darkness is going to try to get to? That light. All eyes can be on us. When we are in the workplace, when we greet each other. I know for me, if I'm in the workplace and I greet one of my brothers, they, what that is you talking about? What it is you saying? They look at it like, oh, you're talking foolishness.
Got it.
You see? But we know.
Like right? To speak on that. That thing. The other day when the art called me, and I was on the job, and I had another co-worker beside me. And I said, man, yeah, shall warm you watching me outside brought it up. Man, they stop and give me a look like,
What you say?
what you just say? They moved it over. So I just look nice and they continue talking.
Right. And even with that, again, why I say spiritual maturity too, right? Because I can speak for myself. First coming into this thing, when brothers used to call and say, "Yeah, how much me out shy, bro?" Like if I was around people that you whisper it or you ain't want people to hear you. But as you grow in this truth and you understand what it is that you truly involved in, and the name what you truly calling on, and the power of that greeting, it's like you don't even care what people gotta say. You see, but that comes with maturity.
Yeah, man. Me at one point, man, I used to be like that voice coming in. But like now, but the thing said that don't worry me.
Gone.
Like he being in the store the other day, the lady looked at me, man. One of the brothers called me. She looked at me. At the same time, a Levite was there. You see? So I tell her straight and plain, man, you got a problem looking at me sideways because I greeting my brother. But man, the Levite, you're having a big conversation and you're in asking her.
Gone.
Who she dealing with? Yeah.
Those words may come with a different vibration.
Gone. You see, when you have that light, the world looking at you, that darkness coming towards you. You see?
Yeah, I will bring up something you mentioned. I had a screenshot something, right? Going into the wide gate and narrow gate. The wide gate is an easy path that lets people live however they want, often relying on over the parents.
There you go.
You see that? So plenty of people can follow that part of the wide gate. All right, because they ain't have no morals, that's what the brother said. The narrow gate, a hard path that requires humility, sacrifice, and a real interchange of the heart, means your mind. See, only few people can follow that path.
Good. I know why I gave that's the easy way.
See?
That's a shortcut.
God. So again, you have to understand, the principles, the foundations of what it is that we're involved in.
So lucky not to cut you off, but lack of morals lead to ISTD rating.
Damn right.
Damn right. You see, you have to understand what it is that we're involved in. You see, again, everything ain't just cut and dry. A lot of things, because the scriptures say, you have to examine the matter before you pass judgment on the matter. And again, to thoroughly examine the matter would takes spiritual maturity. Because even when you look in the world, a judge who just became a judge, let's say been a judge for 1 or 2 years, right? You think people have the same respect for them as a judge who been inside, I think, 40, 50 years? A judge who been inside something 40, 50 years, right, will look at a civil matter and he's able to give judgment just like that. Because why? Came across, that's experience. But at the same time, he may look at it, he may analyze it, but the time what he takes to analyze it wouldn't take as long as the time it takes for a person who just come into it. That's how come I can't see how brothers them is follow this thing and start talking about with the apostles and the elders, because they've been inside this thing longer than some of us been born.
Yeah.
You see? But at the same time, you have to have morals, you have to have integrity, you have to have principles, and understand what it is that you're involved in. Everything again, everything ain't cut and dry. You may see it this way, but before you hastily say this, seek counsel, because that's what brothers here for. Understand it, get the spiritual understanding of it, and then judge. But again, it all starts with self morality. You gotta have morals inside your foundation that have to be within you. You see? With that, Tawadi Abishim Yawashai.
Like I always have to say, okay, what I learned while I was in the world, okay, on one of my previous jobs, it taught us to explore, analyze, and assess the situation. Okay, so anything before you make your judgment, this is what you got to do. Everything. See? That, knowing the truth, okay, and knowing how to judge, you got to gather all your facts. Okay?
That's a beautiful saying. Because you could know the truth but not know how to judge. You see? You could know the truth but not know how to lead. You could know the truth but don't know how to apply it to yourself. You see? So that's the difference between having knowledge and having wisdom. You see? Having integrity and the lack thereof.
John, you made a point about a person being a judge for 2 years versus a person being a judge for 40 years. That's just like us. Like when we hear co-workers them having certain conversation, we tell right off the bat, this one talking shit and this one right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then through experience, you'd be like, do I really step in and correct them, or just hang against I can just just listen.
Yeah, there are some cases you see through the area, damn good.
Yeah, right. When you first come quick to no, that don't go like that. You quick to want to correct people, but as you spiritually mature, sometimes you just keep your eye on your mouth, just listen to the bullshit.
Yeah.
Right again, precept right. This is one back to verse 10, Sirach 11 and 7 days says, blame not before thou hast examined the truth. Understand first, and then review. Answer not before thou hast heard the cause, neither interrupt man in the midst of their talk. All right? That's part of being a wise judge. Understand the situation, examine it before you open your mouth.
So you can understand. Yes, sometimes.
You got it, brother.
Really good lesson. This is spiritual. My lesson is, the laws are only for Israel. Okay? You got to do lesson with this, emphasize heavily on the laws, keeping the laws and whatnot. Okay? But these laws have been made insignificant, mainly because,
Yeah.
who taught you take the law? Who taught Jake was learned, was taught these laws in the Bible, by the so-called by the enemy. Okay? We've been taught the laws by the enemy. And so this is why these laws does not really have any impact or effect, or the people think nothing of breaking the law. Okay? Last week, and so-called pastor or reverend for one of these churches, one of these houses, he stopped here and asked us what we doing out here and with that, and he's stating that he just came out of the bush, catching crab. Okay, and I found that very very abominable, because how can you be a pastor of the church and you're supposed to be teaching and knowing the laws but not? Okay, and then you go to the book of Leviticus 11 itself. The laws are there. Okay, you should not eat crab, shrimp, lobster, conker, whatnot. But these things Jake would do, day in, day out, daily, and continuously, breaking the laws in just about every aspect. Not even just not only the dietary law, but all aspects of the law.
And that shows he's a hypocrite.
Exactly. Okay.
He's a hypocrite, right?
But he's teaching. He's teaching these words. And all of that is us being taught the Bible by the enemies. Okay, who has made these all right, these crawfish and conch and whatnot, made them we call it a delicacy. All right. So Jake will just take anything the white man tell him and do whatever he say. All right. I want to go with the first precept, which is if someone give me Romans 3:19. Romans 3:19.
Romans 3:19.
Go ahead.
Salakia, but let me bring out this precept.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, because you mentioned the pastor who been here last week. Okay, now you say he come with a crowd push and all of that. All right, that shows that man he had not upholding the standards of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, actually the standard of the Bible. Okay, even though they call God, and they call Yahushai Jesus, but they still not upholding the standards of the scriptures. Okay, this is Malachi 2:7 saying, "For the priest's lips to keep knowledge, and they that should seek the law at his mouth, and they should seek the law at his mouth, for he is the messenger of the Lord. But ye are departed out of the way. Ye have caused many to stumble at the law. Ye have corrupted the covenant of Levi, say the Lord of hosts." All right, so that's exactly what they did, because now they're saying, "What, the law is no more." Okay, the law is done away with. All right, but the law gives life. All right, so this shows that they are dead spiritually.
Exactly.
Yeah. Romans 3:19. Now we know that what things soever the Lord said, it saith to them that are under the law, that every mouth must be stopped, and all the world may become guilty before the Most High.
Okay, so whatsoever is stated in the law is stated only to the nation and people who are under the law. Okay, and that nation is Israel. All right, the only nation that the law was given to is the nation of Israel. All right, so what is stated in that law is stated unto Israel. All right, but then the enemy, has deceived Israel and caused them, all right, to go contrary, all right, to not take heed to the law, all right, to not hold the law at the standard that they should, all right, and respect the Most High.
Romans 3:19.
Deuteronomy 5:1. And Moses called And Moses called all Israel and said unto them, "Hear, O Israel, the statutes and judgments which I speak in your ears this day, that ye may learn them and keep and do them."
Okay, so Moses called all Israel, okay, and said unto them, okay, this is only Israel that he is addressing, no other nation, all right? There were 18 nations, all right? But only Israel the law is given to, all right? Only Israel. All right, can I get you one? 5:1. Psalm 147:19.
Yeah, quick precept, right?
Go ahead. Psalm 147.
This Deuteronomy 4:44. And this is the law which Moses set before the children of Israel. These are the testimonies and statutes and judgments which Moses spake unto the children of Israel after they came forth out of Egypt. All right, again, showing that the Lord is between the Most High and Israel.
And this is important, because right now the whole nation, right, of Israel has gone away from the law, all right, and not given the respect that they should, to these law, or given any regards to the law, right? They are not upholding the law as they should, and this is what we been reading about from Israel, okay, from the time of Moses, all right? Ezekiel, the book of Ezekiel refers to them as the stiff-necked people, all right? And that's the same way Jake lives today, all right? Stiff-necked, rebellious, all right? Can I get Psalm 147, verse 19?
It's a lot there, right? I just want to add this is a woman, the witch, right? She would say, she read the scriptures and she saw that the Israelites were rebellious people. So I tell her, I said, yeah. So she said, and yet the Lord still choose them. I said, yeah. I said, they are the Lord's people. So she said, man, well, I don't want to be an Israelite. Just say that. Because they too rebellious. So I said, man, I can show you something right now. I said, look around on this job right now. I said, who comes to work late? Who take lunch early and come back from lunch late? Who leave work early before the time? Who's up attitude when the supervisor tell them they gotta do this or do that? So she put one together. Yeah. So she said, we are those people. I said, all right, I'm good. But then she don't want to be. But then she don't want to be the hypocrite.
That's a she showing rebellion right there.
Actually, and then the precept said, all right, in Jeremiah 17 and 4, so we would discontinue from our heritage, all right. But then they don't know they might even know, all right. They're not even aware, all right.
Scripture said, man, they are of Israel, but not all of them of Israel. That's it. You know, so she put herself in the two things.
Yeah. You see? But you know, she probably thinking also too that they were so she carried on everybody, the righteous and the unrighteous, that everybody was just totally, you know.
Yeah. That's how they go.
And that's how aligning herself with Esau.
Okay. Lack of understanding. Yeah. And people are striving for lack of knowledge.
She wants people with Israel, but she aligned herself with Esau.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's you. That's the spirit of you.
Right. They had a lady who tell me the Jews rejected the Lord, right? I say, yeah, but the scriptures ain't say all of them. Come on. You see what I said?
And that goes right back to their lack of understanding, because she said it over herself. Yes, we were rebellious people, but at the last end, the Lord still chose us.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, man.
So if at the last end, even though we rejected the Lord, He still turned around and chose us. You don't want to be a part of that?
You know, man.
Imagine the nations who accepted Him and the Lord reject them.
Yeah.
I would rather be rebellious and the Lord reject me. I mean, Salakia, I'd rather be rebellious and the Lord accept me, you see, than to be rebellious and the Lord reject you. You see?
So I said to remember now, the Lord promised Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, He never went back on His promise. Do you know that the Lord will go back on His word? Do you know that He goes back on His word? The Lord will go back on His word.
God.
Yeah. All right, this is Psalm 147, 19 and 20. He showed His word unto Jacob, His statutes and His judgment unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any nation. As for His judgment, they have not known them. Praise be Yahweh.
Praise be Yahweh. He showed His word unto Jacob. All right, Jacob's name was Israel. We all know that. All right, His statute and His judgment unto Israel. He has not dealt so with any other nation, right? With any other nation, this law wasn't given to, right? He's not dealing with the nation of the world, only Israel, all right? Israel, He said, is my firstborn, all right? Israel is my son, even my firstborn, all right? Only Israel this law applies to, all right? But Jake allowed the deceiver, okay, to tell them all kind of lies and cause them to not even regard the law or accept, their true access to this truth. All right, to stand strong with this truth. All right, can I get Amos 3 and 1?
It's the book of Amos, chapter 3 and 1.
Yeah, please have
Hear this word that Yahweh had spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth, Therefore, I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Okay, hear this voice, okay, with the Most High spoke unto Israel, all right? Out of the whole, against the whole family's belief, all right? Only Israel, the Most High know and deals with, okay? And only Israel, all right, will receive punishment for breaking these laws, all right? Israel is being judged now, all right, for these very same laws, all right? And if you hold on to these laws, you will live, okay? You will gain eternal salvation. Hold on to these laws and you shall live, okay? Reject them and you will die.
That's good precept, right?
Go ahead.
It's Leviticus 20 and 26. And ye shall be holy unto me. For I, the Lord, am holy. I've separated you from the other people, and ye should be mine. See that? Again, that the Lord only God Israel. He put mine in the people that they are counted and dispensed.
Jump in the bucket. Again, precept here. The second is the 3:34 to 36 says, Hate now therefore our wickedness now and past, and there's also the dwell in the world. And so shall thy name nowhere be found but in Israel. Or when was it that they dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? Thou shalt find that Israel by name had kept thy precepts, but not the heathen.
So even though Israel will be rebellious and stiff-necked, Israel will only be the only people, okay, that will regard this law. Maybe not all Israel, okay, because we know the prophecies say that 2/3 will be cut off and die, all right? But he have a lot preserved, okay? A bunch of the great preserved.
Salaki, right? And pretty much, I ran by a heated house. They get a big Jesus up on their store, they front row, right? They eating deliciously, right? They eat deliciously, up the best, everything. All right, you blessed on the side. I ain't want to get blessed on the next side and use a dime eating. It don't work like that. You won't catch no help, and the Lord dealing with them.
Precept, right? Deuteronomy 32. Verse 8. And the Most High divided the nations their inheritance. When he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob, the Lord is the Lord of his inheritance. Yeah, showing you that the Lord is Israel. Right?
Can I get some?
The book of Psalms, chapter 50 and 16. But unto the wicked Yahweh said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
Unto the wicked. Who was the wicked? Okay? Esau is known as the wicked in the book of Malachi. Okay? And Esau, a profane fornicator, who gave order, okay, and instruction, okay. My law was given to a holy and righteous, okay, and separate people, all right. But you interpret, okay, your interpretation to my righteous law, all right. But whether Jews or Greek, which is only talking about Jews, okay, who were Hellenized, all right. You twist, all right, my law, just like how you take and twist everything, all right. Even the very complexion or image, all right, of my statue, all right, you twist and change, all right, and then now you taking the law, all right, now in your spirit and twist to it, all right, think that you don't have to keep the law that be on the grace, all right, and showing in the face of Israel or Jacob, saying that whether Jews or Greeks, meaning everybody, meaning the whole entire world, okay? But all reference is only being made to those Jews, okay, those Greeks who were Israelites, all right, who became Hellenized, who took on the Greek custom, all right? Can someone give me Galatians 3 and 28? All right? First Maccabees 1:41.
All of them.
Galatians 3:28. There's neither Jew nor Greek. There's neither born nor free. There's neither male nor female. Ye are all one. Mashiach, Yahushai.
Okay, so this precept is making all right, relations to those Jews, all right, who living in the Greek district, all right, under the Greek law became Hellenized, all right, taking on the custom of the Greek, all right, not the Greeks, okay, that are of the nation of Grecian or whatever, all right. This is only talking about the Israelites who took on Greek custom. Can you get me First Maccabees?
All right, but before you go on, just to add to that, the next voice making plain.
Go ahead.
Verse 29 says, if ye be Mashiach, then ye are Abraham's seed. And this is going into the physical seed. And heirs according to the promise. Romans 9:4.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So this right here, this is going back into the adoption. Because it continue over in verse 4. Yeah. Right. See, it says, now I say that the heir, as long as he is the child, different nothing from the servant, so he be Lord of all. What's this? But he, Salakia, but is under tutors and governors until the time appointed of fathers. Right? Even so, when we were children, we were in bondage under the elements of the world. You see? And it's going to go straight in to tell you who's for. See ya, verse 4. But when the fullness of the time was come, God sent forth his son, made of a woman, made under the law, to redeem them that were under the law, that we might receive the adoption of sons. So that's who the adoption is for.
You know, the Christians, they love to use that Galatians 3:28. They love to use that to say, oh, see Greek and Jews.
Right. They say male or female pastor, woman pastor, use that to see Greek, woman to Greek. That ain't saying nothing for that.
I think nothing no preach. You see? So they love to bring that to justify, to say all people. You see, but when you go in there and you just break down, okay, some may understand and some still don't understand. Okay, that's why we normally use Maccabees. You know, we normally use also the scattering. Okay, when an Israelite man goes to these various different nations, okay, he create a whole family. And so after generation, okay, the family started to look like
that nation.
that nation. See, this is why Yahushua has come back in to bring the adoption.
Not only them looking like the nation, but they also like taking on the customs. Right?
Yeah.
This First Maccabees 1:41. 1:43. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yeah, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned Sabbath.
Okay, so the Jews shall leave the laws, okay, and commandments of the Most High God. Okay, they turn from keeping the commandments of the Most High God and took on the custom of the Greeks. All right, they became Hellenized. They took on the laws of the other nation. All right. And this is what the term Hellenization means, all right? Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is 2 Maccabees 6:6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Okay, so the Jews discontinue from their law, from keeping their laws, okay, from their true worship, and worship the gods of the Greek nation. Okay, no longer do they continue worshiping Yahweh, all right, the God of the Bible, but they took on the custom of the Greek nation. All right, and that's why that precept in Galatians 3:28 state whether Jews or Greek. All right, because Jews took on Greek custom. All right.
And if it wasn't lawful for them to profess themselves to be a Jew, what were they calling themselves?
Exactly.
All right, Parthians and Medes and Cush and Elamites and dwellers of Mesopotamia and Rome. All right, Ephesians. All right.
For example, right? Let's say you use a baby and born baby, right? You go live in the States for a long period of time, like for 20 years, 15, 20
Come on,
years.
speaking like that.
You take on the custom, you know, and you start talking like Americans, you know what I mean?
Yeah. The perfect example too, the guy who sang that song,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
Coming Home.
Yeah, the old lady is Jamaican, the old man is Haitian, but he's a
He's
Bahamian.
a Bahamian.
Yeah.
And he said, and the man, he give it. He tell the man that, yeah, that's all he know. He grew up here.
Right.
You see?
So though he lineage in from here, that's all he know. And and like he said, that's the perfect example because a lot of our people, they reject who they are as Israelites because of where they grew up.
Yeah.
Say when the man say, I ain't never been over the land of Israel. So he never been over there. So he know Israelite.
You got it, brother.
It's Jeremiah 17:4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not. For ye have kindled a fire in my anger, which shall burn forever.
Okay, so this is what happened to those Jews. Okay, they discontinue from their heritage from keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments. The statutes and commandments are given. Okay, it's our heritage. Okay, the heritage of the nation of Israel. Therefore, worshiping the gods of the Edomites or of the Greeks god. Okay, worshiping Caesar Borgia, aka Jesus Christ. Okay, it's idolatry. Okay, you're worshiping another god. All right, you're not worshiping the God of the Bible, the God of Israel. All right. So this is why we continuously break the law, and it don't seem to matter to us. It don't matter to Israel. Okay, because Israel don't know who they are. They discontinue from keeping their heritage, from keeping their law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, and they get second edges. 30, second edges 9 and 30
Hey,
and 31.
So like Jay told me one time, say, I saving the devil.
Yeah, exactly. And then this is what we are faced with daily, especially in my own. I'm worshiping. I'm in a cult. We serving the devil. So there's always issues and butting heads and whatnot and having the but I know what I know that what this is all about, and this is the true God, true gospel. All right.
Even that word cult, people really don't look up the definition of words, boy. They don't understand what the word cult means.
And they themselves in a cult.
But Christianity is a cult. But there's a difference. Go ahead.
No, sorry.
There's a difference between a cult and an occult.
Yeah.
You see, a cult, the regular word cult just means you have the same form of worship.
Worship the true God.
There you go.
That's what the word cult means.
You see?
Cult for culture.
There you go.
But you look at all of these religion, Christianity, number one, who you see living according to the Bible and living according to these laws, more than us, applying the word, living according to the words and the commandments. No one else.
But Yahweh say, marvel not that the world hates you, know that it hated me first. So who hates these Christians? You see, Christianity is what, 2.9 billion, and follow that is Muslim, which is 1 billion. Okay, so when you look at that number, that's a large number. All right, and only a small group of people may hate Christians.
Okay,
Oh, the Lord don't deal in large numbers.
and the Lord, right? But when you look at the Hebrew Israelites,
Everybody ate us.
go
The Lord only deals in one thing when it comes to large numbers. That's putting it to death.
Destruction. Destruction.
Anything, anything he used for righteous, he uses small numbers.
Few.
Putting niggas to death, mass destruction.
That
You see, second address 9 and 30. And thou speakest, saying, Hear me, O Israel, and mark my words, thou seed of Jacob. For behold, I sow my law in you, and it shall bring fruit in you, and ye shall be honored in it forever.
Okay, say seeds of Jacob, okay? All right, and not Esau, all right? Seeds of Jacob. These laws will bring forth fruit in Jacob, okay? Who should be honored in it forever, okay? But Esau states that the laws are done away with, okay? We on the grace, all right? And this is how these Christians, okay, go about and react, all right? And they confront or combat us, all right? That the law does not apply today, all right? But that's what you know. That's all the deception that Jake, has allowed himself, to be a part of. Allowed that, okay, this God of the Esau, all right, to consume them with evil, all right, to go against the God of the Bible, all right. So, can I get Proverbs, Psalms 15, 17? Okay.
It's a lot here, right? But it couldn't continue on in our second address 9, right? It said, for 32, we say, but our fathers, which received the law, kept it not, and observed not thy ordinances. And though the fruit of thy law did not perish, neither could it, for it was thine. Right? Kept the ordinances. Okay, they don't keep none of the feast days. They don't keep the Sabbaths. Okay,
remember our holy days, man.
they don't keep none of that.
You know what they keep? Christmas and Thanksgiving and Halloween and all these different shit.
All right.
All right. Sunday Sabbath.
And even with that, they talk about Sunday Sabbath. All right, they still go out and put things in the food stuff.
Oh yeah.
Buying pork up and grabbing it.
Yeah.
Cooking. Oh,
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest shops, and there you go in the news more.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then after that, they need to know rest over there.
They're getting the cheapest meat too. Pork chop.
Pork chop.
You know that?
Big feet. Psalm, but I can't say we the big feet, but Psalms 50 and 17. Seeing thou hatest instruction and casteth my words behind thee.
Okay, so he's saying to Esau, what is thou to do to cut my statue? Okay, seeing you hate instruction, all right? Esau hate instruction, all right, and cast the Most High's word behind him, all right? So Jake allowed this man, all right, who is not a prophet, who does not look or fill the image of the prophet, all right, who was cast the Most High's word behind him, hates instruction, all right, has deceived Israel, all right. Now, he no longer feels that the law applies to him or the law is of any significance, all right. So, all right, we are no longer, all right, a part of the nation of Israel as far as worshiping the Most High God and holding to our heritage and keeping our law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? So Jacob's turning away from Israel, from his heritage, all right, worshiping the Most High, and he's, all right, he's become Esau, all right? Esau service, he's given service and worship to Esau, all right? Says Rabbah, okay? Or AKA, who would ignorantly call Jesus Christ, all right? So You have another piece of that.
I get this Proverbs 12 and 1.
Okay, yeah, I'm finished.
Say Proverbs 12 and 1 it says, whoso loveth instruction loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish.
Okay. He that loves instruction, he that loves these laws, okay, loves knowledge. All right. So I hope this lesson was edifying and the service favor.
We got one precept.
Oh,
What up? One precept. This is Baruch 5, Exodus verse 5. It says, arise, O Jerusalem.